Hello.
Michael,
Hey, what's up? How are you?
good. Well, how are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Just had a wedding in Florida we got back from, so feeling
You
pretty
got
good.
what?
We had a wedding in Florida this past weekend. We just got back
Oh.
yesterday, so doing pretty good over here.
Any ticks yet?
No, not yet. I'm sure they're gonna pop up at some point though. I usually
Okay.
always wear pants with them tucked in, always treated with permethrin. So,
Sure.
sometimes I'll see ticks crawling up and they're dead before they even get to my knees. So I guess I'm a little more protective on that. I just always permethrin treat everything and tuck in the socks pretty much.
Okay.
How about you?
Not yet. Nope. I've been out collecting aluminum on various roads. We talked at the Ironhofen meeting last night about the dam across Landing Creek that you
Oh.
mentioned off of Young Road. Nobody knew its origin. And
Wow.
these are people who know most of the trails in Egg Harbor City, but they all knew about the dam and they all played in it when they were kids. And
Isn't that something? Wow.
yeah.
So I don't know what the next step would be if to determine it outside of trying to have like a professional research crew like take soil samples and try to carbon date some things. I really don't even know. Maybe someone
I
from
don't-
Stockton.
I don't think you can carbon date anything recent. It's got to be in the area of 1,000 to 10,000 years
Yeah,
old.
that's a good point. Who knows? Maybe some artifacts or something though, but we'll just got to call it Mystery Dam for now.
Yep.
There is that trench. There is the, auxiliary raceway or whatever it was that goes towards the lake.
Yep.
I had talked with Gabe Koya. He and what's his name, James Polero, and they were thinking that most likely it was something maybe that Charles Smith had done, some way to get extra water over into the lake to power his wheels. Maybe.
Right.
The only other option would be that it would be from the earlier Indian cabin mill operation that was there from the Shalers or whoever ran that.
Right.
But, that's an iffy one too. It's kind of tricky, right? It's doesn't seem like there's an easy answer for it. But I'm
Yep.
glad it was brought up. Thank you for doing that. I'd like to
Yep.
try to make some of those meetings too. It's like
Okay. They're on the third Monday of the month
third
at the
Monday of the
Roundhouse
month.
Museum at 7 o'clock.
I'm gonna have to start marking that down. I'd like to show up for a couple of them. I'm also
Maybe
looking.
I'll give you a notice about the next one.
That'd be great, Dick. Thanks. And if there's a map that you have that indicates what parcels are ran by that organization, I think that'd be pretty cool to know too. I can't figure out which ones are actually city managed versus like your land trust watching.
I think Todd Walker brings that map to every meeting. So
Oh, very cool.
You'll find it. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Very good.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Annette. I'm going to have to leave it in about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So-
well, luckily we have a short agenda tonight. I've been really busy at work. I haven't had too much time to prepare a lengthy agenda. But we could talk about the labeling trees in Lincoln Park first. That's item 5 on the agenda. For you, Dick.
You have my list, and if you ever need me, give me a call.
I sent you an email. I told you about this. I bought these little flags.
Huh. Okay.
That when the installer goes and puts the posts and signs up, he's going to need to know which tree to go to. So I figured I'd give these to you ahead of time, and you could write the tree species on here and stick it right where you think the sign should go.
Be happy to do that.
And so I got these on the internet. I was looking for them for a while, but I found them, thank God.
You want me to stop by your house in the next couple of days?
No rush. I mean, they probably won't get installed until the middle of April. So
Okay.
I don't want to put them out there too early because they might blow away or, fall
You give me a
down.
date and I'll put them out.
Okay. So that's something I wanted to clear with you first. I was hoping there were more people. Where's everybody at tonight? I don't know. we are going to do the community cleanup this year, and we had talked about the possibility of working with Mike on the nature trail and cleaning up out there. Just that I don't know how many volunteers you're going to get, and if you need muscle, because I can't offer muscle, you know, and some of our other members might not be able to offer muscle or trucks or whatever you need. So what do you think you're going to need?
That's a really good question. So what I just did today actually was created a Sign Up Genius event. So
I signed up, by the way, and it went through. I hope you got it.
I haven't shared it yet. So what I did share today on the City Lake Park, I just shared the PDF that I've already proposed and saying that this trail is coming. So it was the first time I've actually put it out there like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. So probably tomorrow I'm going to do two things. I'm going to create a Facebook event for the May 7th cleanup, and then I'll also share the Sign Up Genius as part of that. So people either sign up on Facebook or on the Sign Up Genius. I'll just make sure everything gets in the Sign Up Genius, and then that's what I'll give to Mayor Lisa. Because she's looking, she wants to know who's going to be helping too. So I guess based off who signs up on the Sign Up Genius will indicate on if we're going to need more help or not. So I'm not really sure if any other suggestions on how to go about that. I'm all ears. But it seems to be that should be a pretty logical way to try to gauge help. So regarding trucks, I haven't heard back from Keith Adams yet. He did mention at the last council meeting that he could bring the trucks out and his public works could do that. But I have emailed him a couple spots on locations. I just haven't heard back yet. So I can touch base again or give that some more time. And another solution there is maybe we don't really focus the trucks for just the cleanup. Maybe we take the volunteers and we drag as much as possible to like Liebig or some other easy area to get to. And at least we get all the real big stuff there. Maybe the Keith Adams with the public works truck can come and just grab that stuff. So I think there's a couple ways we can solve that problem. It's kind of hard for me right now to say, yes, we need these many trucks or these many people. So I'm hoping just in the coming weeks, I'll get a better idea of how many people want to help and what sort of resources they can contribute.
Okay. There's small trash though. There's like bottles and
ton of that. Yeah. Bottles, you name it. Just the big things that I don't think we're going to be able to get out of there, at least will be the spool and the pallets that are actually in the Landon Creek. There's a pile of rubble, like concrete construction debris, which we can just pick up, but we're not gonna be able to move it too far. It's like, pretty much cinder blocks broken up. There's a couple like mattresses and bed frames. I don't think we're gonna be able to easily get them out either. There's like a car door. That's another pretty big one. So there's probably like a good 10 to 15 items of like big trash that we're not going to be able to just put in a trash bag. So, we can do this two ways, which is just target the big stuff in its own cleanup, working with ACUA or Public Works, or we can just focus first with just the resources we have, pull out as much as we can, and even if we can't remove it from the lake property, at least get it in a central spot and then get either ACUA or Public Works to just pick that up. So, I think we can play it by ear. We don't have to make a decision just yet. We still have some time. And so maybe by the next meeting, I'll have a little bit more of an update there.
Okay. And the other choice would be to clean up Clark's Landing. So that was pretty easy last year. It's just a matter of using the grabbers to get some bottles and stuff up. And that shouldn't be that dirty this year. I haven't been out there, but.
Yeah, we could definitely send people there too, depending on how many people clean up. Like if you have a Sustainable EHC core team for cleanup, maybe we'll see how many people sign up on this Facebook event and Sign Up Genius. And maybe you can just still take Sustainable EHC and target Clark's Landing, and we'll just handle the nature trail area if we get enough people. I was talking with some people from the Pinelands Preservation Alliance, and they were willing to share. So just by them sharing that post, we might get 20 or 30 people just from them.
Did you see that article in the press the other day?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, they were commending the residents here for showing up for that big meeting about the.
I must have missed that. I'm gonna have to go check that out. No, I missed that one.
I think I put it on.
It was page one. It was the outfitters that was rejected near the City Lake.
Yeah. I think I shared it on the Friends of Egg Harbor City.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we had a wedding this past weekend, so I remember actually you seeing that. I just was travel plans and everything. I never got a chance to read it. I'll go
Right.
back and give that a good read. That's
All right,
amazing.
so we'll schedule both. Let me know when, if you want me to send out a press release or something, but when you do your promotion, if you do it on Facebook, please put in there about protecting, wearing the proper clothing if you're going to go
Okay.
into the woods because of ticks and things like that.
Yeah, okay, that's good advice. Yeah, I'll make sure I'll get that in there on the event.
Right.
Yeah, I'm willing to
Okay.
bet even the AC Press is going to want to run an article once they get wind of this becoming a trail. They may want to run another article that as well. I mean, it's kind of a nice headline, like some of the lands that were going to be used for Tackle the Wreck will now be part of the nature trail. I can
Right.
see them want to do a follow-up article. So if they want to do that, we'll want to make sure we have all our ducks in a row for the cleanup. So we're not like, miscommunicating anywhere.
Right, right. There was something else I wanted to say, and I thought of it and I lost it. Something about the nature. Oh, the signage. I know you were talking about what type of signs to get and all that.
Yes.
Right now we're dealing with Signorama in Hamilton, who's going to be making the signs for the trees in Lincoln Park.
Awesome.
So I was thinking you might want to put them on your list.
Definitely. I had emailed Jody about who to use on whether I can do the communication or she needed to do it. So the original contractor I thought of was Voss, but she recommended the same company you're using, the guy out of Hamilton. So I haven't called him yet. I was going to actually ask you about that tonight because I saw on the agenda about signage there. So maybe we can just piggyback off that. And I don't want to go too crazy on the signs first. I mean, I can. I always try to think of worst case scenario, and I can see some people who like partying back there, and then using it for like their ATV grounds. I can see them wanting to rip the signs down, as soon as they get put up.
Well, I don't know.
It's kind of tricky, So should we try to plan like a first go at the signs that maybe aren't that super expensive, and just get some signage up there, and if they get vandalized, it's not the end of the world, or do we try to go a little bit with the nicer quality ones that are longer lasting and hope they just don't mess with them because they look better?
I think all you need is like, in fact, somebody can make them for you if they have a router, and just get planks of wood and route out the words or whatever you want to say on the signs and attach them, I guess, to the trees. You might need a post here or there, to welcome people to the trail.
Yeah.
And at the end of the trail, saying this is the end of the trail or something like that. I don't know, but I'm thinking like being in the state park or something where the signs are all just made out of that dark brown wood routed out with the words in a piece of wood. So
yeah, I think that would look really good.
I don't think that should be expensive or hard to get. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that there's probably going to be another round of funding coming out from Atlantic City Electric. I think they come out in like June, maybe, that, we could apply for another grant to pay for the signs. And
That'd be great.
They love that kind of stuff. There's a stewardship portion and there's a energy saving portion. So
awesome. Yeah, I think having like a real big, it doesn't need to be huge, but like right at the entrance, kind of by Lightbig, right where it meets up with the Young Road Trail, I think that would be a good spot to maybe throw up like a more of an informational thing with like a map of where you're going to be walking and just some basic info, just like you see at the entrance to any major trailhead. Maybe like a little split rail fence or something that will like narrow down the road so you can just walk right through and try to deter some of the ORV activity there.
That's a good idea.
Like, hey, we care about this area now. It's not just some trail to drive through. That may be enough, hopefully.
Right. Well, like you said, to keep the people out with the ATVs, you'd have to place them strategically so that, they can't get around them.
Yeah, that's pretty much, and that would be near impossible, most likely. I think the best way to prevent this area is like if you got to kind of look at the ATV people as two groups, right? You have the ones who live in town, and then the ones who drive in from out of town who are really just looking for a hidden spot. So the out of towners, they see signage and like blockages here and there, they probably will turn around. The local ones, however, may still be willing to drive through just because it's their favorite area to ride. So those people may just have to target more of like an educational type campaign saying, here's what we're trying to do with the woods, and your activity is making people intimidated to be back there, for one, and two, you're kind of ruining just the ecological assets we have. Maybe that works. So, I like I said, I'm always like thinking like worst case scenario, like, in my head, I'm like, we're going to do all this work, and then within the first month, is just going to get all ripped out and everything. But I think we, in the long term, we will be able to stop the ATV usage, at least in that section of the park.
Yeah, that's my opinion, is that, you don't want them on where people are going to be walking a trail, but there's plenty of other spots for them to ride, and personally, I'd like to see an ATV trail somewhere.
I think so too. There's only a couple spots in South Jersey. The thing is, though, with ATV riders is when they're done for the day, they put their ATVs in their trailers and they go home. They don't go into downtown and all go to a group restaurant together.
Yeah.
It's not like they're doing that. When people go hiking, they do. That's definitely you can track data on that. And it's the city lake park. It's a city property. It's one of our assets. And if we want it to help you a little bit more revenue generating for the town, we want to bring people in that are going to go downtown and eat when they're done. And unfortunately, ATVers, they just don't do that. So, they don't really get a seat at the table in terms of deciding what happens with those woods, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know other people would differ on that stance. I'm kind of a hardliner on it.
All right. So we'll just hang in there and wait to hear from you. Like I said, if you want me to send out a press release to media, I'll do that.
Awesome. Yeah, let's give it maybe 1 or 2 more weeks. Let's see what happens with this sign up forms and where that goes, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay, cool.
Nanette, I'm really sorry. I jumped in late. I was at another meeting. I just wanted to know, Michael, did you come up with a date, or you're still working on it?
I said we go with the 7th. I say we just go with the citywide cleanup, and we just communicate that this is part of the bigger citywide effort. So, don't deter too many resources from in town, but just try to say, hey, I made a sign up genius thing, and I'm going to make a Facebook event too, and I have like a limit of like 30 people. So I say we just target, hey, this will be one of the groups of part of the citywide cleanup, and that may be enough to get the job done.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts there?
Do you need myself and my husband on this, or do you have enough people from the city, from your Facebook page?
Not yet. I just made the sign up genius today. I haven't even broadcasted it. All I did in the city on the Facebook page today was just say, hey, we're making a trail. Here's the proposal that I've made. Check it out. Stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing events in the coming days. So either tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to share the sign up genius in the Facebook event. And pretty much if people don't enter the sign up genius and they just click, I'll come from the Facebook, I'll just either message them or something and be like, hey, I'll just sign you up here too. And then whoever signs up in sign up genius, that's the list I'll give to Mayor Lisa, so she can have her organizational thing going on too, and just communicate. We're going to meet at the firehouse first, and then we just go to the lake, like it says in our press release thing. So,
okay, well, just let me know, because I need, I want to let her know as well what I'm going to do.
Okay,
but I don't think it's necessary.
Let's just give it 1 week, and see how many people start signing up. If the Pinelands Preservation Alliance shares it, there's a very good possibility we'll fill our ranks just with that. There may be people that are actually coming from out of town to help. So I guess we'll just see how it goes. I've had some other interest in some of our Philly friends. They've wanted to come down and help too. So you might get a pretty good crew where we could really spread out and even clean like Indian Cabin all the way to Renault and things like that. So I said we'll just play it by ear. But I do appreciate you offering your help. And as of right now, I would just say just keep it open. I'm not really sure. I'm hopeful that people will sign up, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry about the interruption.
No worries. Yeah, thanks.
All right. Next up is the Bag Up New Jersey. Goes into effect May 4th. And I was able to get more bags from the ACUA. These are nice ones. They say Bag Up New Jersey on them, and then it says ACUA on the back. So I have 100 of them. So I wanted to set up some kind of bag distribution, but I was wondering if we should do it in Inkalingos again, or send some over to the pantry door at the Moravian Church. Hazel, what do you think? Can you hear me? You got to unmute yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. I got two things going here. The phone's
I know.
going in my computer.
It's good. It makes it look like there's a lot of people at the meeting.
All right, good. Except this one down here in the bottom is showing wrinkles in my neck. I don't like that one. Anyway, I was going to say, if you want the food pantry to do that, I will help you do that because you know I'm there. I sign people in. Do you want to give them out, or do you want to donate them to Bonnie and then we could fill them with food to
Yeah,
give
no,
to the
I think
people?
fill them with food.
Yeah,
with
that's
food.
what we would like to do.
Okay.
Okay.
So why don't we split them up? We'll give you, how many do you think they would need over there at the pantry door?
We usually pack like 100 bags a week. I mean, a
Really?
month.
It's a once a month thing?
Yes, the third Wednesday of every month.
Okay. And then if we do give some out at Incolingos, I think we should go inside the store this time and stand where the people get in line and explain it
Okay.
to them. So
Oh, and
they're
they can put their groceries right in it.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
So but we'll work on that. We'll get a date set right before then. Any day, around 4 o'clock is good. So
Okay, good.
We'll work on that. But I just wanted to let everybody know I got the bags. Regarding our grant applications that we submitted, we submitted a grant earlier in, March, February. We asked for $10,000. We're calling it Engaging EHC, and it was to improve the video equipment and the speaker microphones and things like that in the council chambers. So we're waiting to hear if that was awarded. But in any case, if we get the grant or we don't get the grant, there's still actions to go along with it. And there's things that the council can do and the clerk can do to make it easier for people to sign up to get agendas mailed to them, emailed to them, and things like that. So we can work on that. I'm hoping to hear from them soon though, because that's the that's PSE&G. And then the other grant we just finished last week was the energy planning grant, which is because we're considered a distressed community in the state. We're eligible to get up to $25,000 to do this grant. And basically what it is what we submitted was a checklist of all these energy saving ideas like EVs and charging stations, solar, and we have some activity in these areas already. So we submitted that checklist and we pretty much checked off everything that was on the list that we said is achievable. And if we get that grant, then the money will be split. 20,000 will be will go to the engineers to do the actual planning for implementation of all these programs, and the other $5,000 will cover outreach, things that are on the list that we would have like group meetings with the community to educate them about solar and things like that. So if we have to get refreshments or we need to buy advertising or whatever, do printing for documents and things like that, we'll have the funding to do that. And I believe it's a 2-year grant. So you have time to actually implement some of the things. And right now there's a big push in the state for EVs and electric charging stations. So the mayor had sent me an email saying we should really look at this. And I even got a kind of a commitment from the police chief that, yeah, they would be interested in having an electric vehicle. Originally, I thought Public Works is ideal because they just drive around town slowly. But if the police department wants one, there's probably state programs, lease programs where they'll be adding EVs to their inventory. All these things, though, will cost money. So the point is we either have to put it in capital, like a capital plan, or keep seeking other grant sources to supplement whatever you can get from the DEP state. So I was real happy to see that. We did have a meeting. Dick wasn't able to attend, and I think he signed off. He had another meeting to go to. He wasn't able to attend, but I sent him a copy of the grant. If anybody wants to see it, it's just basically a checklist. But if you want to see it, just let me know and I could email it to you.
Okay.
And the grants that we were awarded, we started talking about with Dick labeling the trees. And I'm working with the Signorama. I did about 8 or 10 of the different tree species and developed a sign. And when I sent it to him, he said that the print was too small, he won't be able to read it. And the resolution on the pictures was not great. I mean, it looked great on my computer, but when he got it, he said, no, so he revised it. And actually, I like his better. And so I'm going to have to finish another 12 different species and send it to him. I sent him 10. I haven't heard back yet, but I don't know if I said it at the last meeting, but he will put them on an angle so they face up when you're walking around the park. And he came up with a way to install the posts on the mature trees where there's a lot of root system. And, he's just going to drill a hole inside a 2x4, or I mean, a 4x4, I guess, and put a rebar in there and sink the rebar in the ground. So it's only a small, post that'll have to go into the ground. So it'll make it a lot easier to install. But now when he goes out there to do the trees, I got these little flags on the internet, and Dick has agreed to write the species and stick it in the ground where we want to put the tree. I mean, where we want to put the sign. So we'll do that like a couple days ahead of when the contractors want to go out and install the signs. So that's what I've been busy working on, is getting those signs done. I did a lot of research on the species, and I found some great pictures, but again, he's saying it's not high enough resolution. So he said he would like to get the pictures. So I hope he just gets the right picture of the tree. It's going to have a picture of the tree and then a picture of the leaf on there. So, and then on the side, it'll have the little verbiage about the tree. So I'm working with Kim. We had talked about doing other activities around this on Arbor Day. We're planning on planting a tree and having a tour of the park with the new signs. And I'll have a brochure made up with the verbiage that's on the signs that people could take home with them. And we talked about doing a native plant sale. And how are we making out with the vendors?
Well, we really only have the two. We have Earth First Native, and we have the Organic Farms Mullica. You were in touch with the Organic Farms in Mullica. She said she's definitely coming, correct? Summer
Yeah.
Sweet he never got back to me. I called him 2 times and he hasn't gotten back to me. I'm going to call him April 1st. So I'm going to actually go there and see.
Okay, and it's April 29th. I had the wrong date.
Yeah, April 29th from 3 to 5. And Belinda is going to speak, as you had seen. And I figured the garden club could have a table there with literature. And if there's anything that you want out on it, and if you want anyone from Sustainable there,
I
we
have
can all stay at the same table.
Yeah, well, I have a table cover that says SustainableEHC on it. So we could put, we have a tree brochure. We could put all this literature out. And
Okay.
some of the other stuff. But I was thinking, if we're going to have the native plant sale and we're going to have, is Steve going to talk too?
Steve is not going to talk. He really isn't able to go. So Belinda will be the only speaker.
Okay.
So, and I had suggested to her 15 to a half, on both, one on native and one on invasives. So I didn't know when you were going to do, the the walk around and everything to let Belinda in on when the best time to do her.
Yeah, I think probably we said what, 3 to 5,
3
right?
to 5. Yeah, it's only 2 hours. So, I mean, even if she does 15 minutes on each, whatever you think.
Well, I think that we should do the tour first. That's the
Absolutely.
main thing.
Mhm. Yes, that's what it's all about.
And
It's surrounding
then
that.
she could probably start around 4 o'clock.
Okay, sounds good.
And I was wondering if we should get like a food truck there. I contacted one food truck vendor, but she didn't want to come because it's just a small event. But I'm
Right.
wondering, Hazel, do you know of any food truck vendors that might want to come?
Yeah, I know the one, Hawker, the one Hawker boy, he's come, I keep Charlie from coming in the meeting. Yeah, I could talk to him, Ryan. He's done a
Yes.
lot of things here for us.
Yeah, see if he would.
He's the one that was up on, Tommyotti's, the place up on the White Horse Pike for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if he
Yeah, and
wants
he
to
has good
come,
food.
3 to 5, it's 2 hours. You know,
And they're able,
Okay, tell me
It's
again, because
okay,
I
we
had to
don't
get
have-
up, because Gary walked in the door, so I told him where I was, so.
we don't have to,
It's
they
the
don't have to
beginning
get any,
again.
they don't have to get any special anything.
now
for
they
that.
have all I mean, if city council wants to approve it, we'll know closer to then
Okay,
if we're going to have one, and they could put a resolution allowing it for 2
Okay.
hours.
that's
But,
what I just want to know.
You know,
Okay.
I just thought of that, and I'm thinking, you
Mhm.
know, if we're going to have all this activity going on, it'd be nice to have something there for people to eat, because it's almost approaching dinner time. You
Is-
know, I
is
don't
it
eat hot
Gringos?
dogs.
Is that Grubbing Gringos, Hazel, by chance?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
Grubbing Gringos, yeah.
Yes.
They're very good.
and they've got the, license for here and everything, so
Yeah,
that
they're
shouldn't
all-
be a problem, but I can get in touch with him.
oh, great, okay.
Well, I'll
Um,
check and make sure they don't need anything.
It's 3 to
Okay.
5, April 29th. It's a Friday afternoon.
Well, I guess they would park what, over in the parking lot, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I would think in the parking lot, near where the vendors are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yep.
the other thing we have to talk about, is if she's going to be doing a talk, do we need a PA system?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if can do it by, even in the, do you think it should
we're
be in
gonna-
the arbor? Could
We
it be
need-
in the arbor?
In the
Or is it
gazebo?
the
you mean?
Gazebo, I mean, excuse me, the gazebo,
Yeah, if the gazebo is presentable.
be around her, yeah. Well, we actually, with the gardening club, as a matter of fact, we have the meeting on Saturday. And that's going to be one of the things that we plan to do. I'm going to bring it up 3 times before the 29th. I'd like to go out there and kind of clean up the trees and do everything in the park. And then the day before, just check it out to make sure everything's presentable.
Good.
That's my plan.
All right, well, if you think we need chairs, I have a few. But we might need to get some chairs out there.
I have,
For many things we've used, we just need somebody with a truck to get them from the Historical Society. We could always borrow them.
I have a truck, Hazel.
Okay, so we'll work that out.
Okay. And I have 8 of,
And the city has the PA system. I mean, we always use that in the park for the Memorial Day and everything.
oh, really? Well, then maybe we can do that. You just talked to, I guess, Megan? Just
Yes.
ask Megan, all right.
Talk to Meg. Yep. It's
Yeah.
in the, it's stored in the room where the printer is, where the video printer is.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so that'll be good. Well, it'll be kind of like a little festival, actually,
Yeah,
turning into something like a little bit bigger than we
Mhm.
originally thought.
yeah.
I'll be, I have to, during the tour, I have to do video, so I'm going to videotape the tour, not the whole thing, but snippets. And we need to submit that to Atlantic City Electric afterwards. You know, just, I think they requested some kind of publicity and all that stuff, so I thought a little video would be good, that like maybe 2-minute video that we could post online, and they can use if they're doing any kind of presentations. That they usually at the Sustainable Jersey luncheon, they show videos and things like that. So we'll have something recorded.
And
Uh,
Nanette, one other thing, possibly Arlo from Tobacco Free Jersey, he might have a table with the children at it. So then you can use that as an action,
Okay,
okay? Because I've been in contact
So-
with him as well.
they're bringing their own stuff. They're all set. We don't have to do anything for them. You just
If he
invite
does,
us.
I'm going to be in contact with him and I'll tell him, to please bring his own stuff.
And this is Atlantic Prevention Resources?
This would be Atlantic Prevention. Yeah, they're coming from Mays Landing. He was going to try to get the children from Egg Harbor City to be able to do this. So
Mhm.
then it will be an action
Okay,
or
good.
sustainable.
And I'll put a press release out, the week before, inviting people to come and participate in the tour and all that.
Okay. And
Fall tree planting. All right, if anybody hasn't seen it, please go to SustainableEHC.org website. And there's a page dedicated to the tree planting where people can sign up for a tree. We're going to have 2 rounds of applications where people could submit to request a tree. And the first round will be on the designated streets where there were road programs when the trees were removed. So they get first dibs at the tree. We got our first response via email today from Lenny Couch.
Good.
She wants 2 trees.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
I don't know when they were delivered to their houses. She might have got it today. And if some people are going to mail it back, it might take a couple days for us to get.
Well,
the-
I left them with Jody, I left them with Jody over a week ago, and I'm sure she was just going to mail them right then.
Yeah, they do mail every day, right?
Yes. She just had to
So-
run them through the postage machine.
Right. And in the packet of information about the tree planting, there's the request form. It has the list of trees. We narrowed down that original list to, I think, 10, 12 species. We had 20 some before, but there was just too many. So we narrowed that down, and they'll get to pick small, medium-sized, or large trees, depending on their site. And they also send back a pledge to maintain the tree and water it for 2 years. And that's, there was some discussion about, well, maybe you want the contractor to maintain the trees, but
No.
it's a lot easier. People have to take responsibility for
Exactly.
the trees. I think it gets.
And
them
they're
involved.
going to charge you, and it's going to cost too much money
Yeah,
Exactly.
We
if
had
you
to
have the
do that.
contractor stay involved.
We had to do that with the last tree grant, where the contractor has a truck with the big barrel on it. And if he came by once or twice during the 2 years, it would be a lot. So,
Yeah.
And what
Do
else?
the
did I wanna
residents
say?
plant the trees themselves, or does a crew go around and do it?
What's that?
Do the residents plant the trees once they get them, or do you have
No.
like a volunteer crew?
No, we're going to have a contractor do it.
Got it,
We're
okay.
we're just taking the orders for the trees, and we're going to pay the contractor to purchase the trees and do the installation. And I'm going to see if there's enough money. We'll get the watering bags that, if we can, if he could deliver them with the in the bid. And but we're going to need help. Once we get the requests for trees, we need our people to go out and look at the site and make sure that this site can take a large tree, or this site needs a smaller tree, or, there's a tree stump there, and we're not going to mess with tree stumps. They're just too hard to get out, especially if they took down an old tree. So the site has to be cleared by us before we approve the tree. And the other thing we need to check is to make sure that there's a hose bib close to the, we're 50, 60 feet away where people can take their hose and water the tree. Because if their hose bib is in their backyard and the tree is way in the front, how are they going to water it? So we need to, impress upon the homeowners that, show us your hose bib because we want to make sure that you're going to maintain these trees. We don't want to, it's costing us $500 a tree.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
well,
I know
with
AC
inflation and all that.
I know ACUA gives away trees to residents every year. It seems like too. Last year we just filled out a form and they sent a bald cypress in the mail. It came in like a cardboard box. That was kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah.
How big was it?
It was like maybe like 3 foot tall or so.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty small. We just planted it back along the Cedar Creek kind of. So
Right.
my wife
Well,
found the form.
These
You
are
know?
street trees. These are trees that go along the curb line. So
Yeah, so it wouldn't be that. They had a couple you could pick from. It was a pretty neat program. It just in Philly they have the Philly Tree People, and in Fishtown, Kensington, they go around and it's volunteer crew, and they get the trees donated, and then everyone goes on and plants them. So she was like, "I'm willing to bet there's something like that down here too." And
we have
just came
that.
across that ACUA form.
The Arbor Day Society does the tree plantings, but they do it in Camden and Patterson or something. Like they won't come to Atlantic County. And then the other thing is that we used to get saplings from the Forestry Service. They send them out every year. This year we had them last year or the year before, was it? And I went to Mays Landing and picked up 100 trees. And they come in an envelope. They're little tiny saplings. But this year, you have to go all the way to like North Jersey to get the trees and to pick them up. And I'm like, I'm not driving all the way up there. It's like we can't even give them away. I don't know how many of these trees actually survive. They're so small that people take them home. And I know I had a few left and they dried up in the bag. I kept water in the bag to keep them alive, but eventually they just dried up and died. Because
I have a question about
so I
watering.
passed on that. Yeah.
I have a question about watering the trees again. Is there any chance, how much do those bags cost? Do you know, to put around the trees? Are they
Just
very
$2.
costly?
They're not expensive.
So
Maybe
why
$5.
couldn't the homeowners have, that be their responsibility in order to
They
water?
could, but if we could give it to them,
Oh,
with the grant.
absolutely. But you're saying if you can't,
Oh,
gee,
then
that
it's
would be
not-
well worth,
Yeah,
make
but
sure that they all have them. That way you will know that they will be watered at least for X amount of time. And if not,
Another good trick too is like you can take a milk gallon jug and just put a small pinhole in the bottom and then just have them fill it up, and then it will just plug the hole pretty much as they walk it out, and then just put the milk jug right next to the base of the tree and it will slowly drain out. They do that every day. I mean, it's not like 5 gallons like it should get, but if their hose doesn't reach the tree, if people are willing to use the milk jug idea, they can just put a small hole in the bottom and that will water the tree.
And then once the trees or before the trees are planted, we'll ask all the homeowners who are getting trees to come to a meeting to learn about how to take care of the tree and all that stuff. And we'll have to get somebody to run that program.
But it's good to make them part of it, because then they're part of it and responsible, and they'll want to take care of it.
And
That's good.
agree, Hazel.
It's a recruiting tool to get more people involved in our group. So yeah, I agree. Let me see. So
That's a good idea, though. We also give them flyers about Sustainable Lake Harbor City.
right.
And there's people, they don't know we exist. So
Yeah,
that will be good.
I know.
Mhm.
Yep.
The other thing is round 2. Once we know the targeted streets, how many trees we're going to need, I'm sure there's going to be availability for other towns. I mean, other parts of town. But talking to the engineer, she recommended that you target a specific area. Like, in other words, you don't want to send the contractor all over town trying to find these locations. So either pick certain streets or certain neighborhoods where there's a lack of trees to open it up to those people next, rather than just open it up to the general public. So I needed to figure out where that could be. I was hoping Dick could stick around. Maybe I could ask him through email, but where he thinks that we need trees. My first thought was Egg Harbor North, which was clear
Exactly what
cutted,
I was going to say. Exactly.
where it was clear cutted, you know. But my question, and maybe Kim could find this out for me,
Go ahead.
is when the houses were built, were they required to plant street trees? Was the developer required to plant? And if he was, and he didn't plant them, I don't think we should be giving them trees. The developer should cover that cost. And Ryan sent me an email saying the right of way is deep, but there's not much room between the curb and the sidewalk. So if there are trees planted in that neighborhood, they would have to be on the house side of the sidewalk within the right, but they have to be within a right of way. They can't be on private property. So that would be the other hurdle out there is, you know, I haven't had a chance to drive around and eyeball it, but he said there would be no room to plant them on the curb line. You'd have to plant them on the other side of the sidewalk.
So isn't that private property though, on the other side of the sidewalk?
He said the right of way is 8 feet from the
So from the
curb.
curb in,
Yeah,
the right of way, and that's the 8 feet, that's the
Yeah.
cities?
so
Okay,
in
I can measure.
actuality, their grass line on the curb, on the sidewalk side is actually part of the right of way. So he said that's where you would want to plant them, not on the curb side, because there's just not enough room there. I haven't seen it. I haven't been out there for a while, but
So
can you find that out?
I'll find out. I could even just go out there and see 8
But
feet.
find out if the developer was responsible for
Right.
planting and if he did or not, because,
Uh-huh.
but I think that would be a nice area to replant because they really did get butchered when they built those houses. So
Mhm.
Oh, I have to tell you this. When Brad was building, my husband was the engineer that laid a lot of those houses out, and they left a lot of trees. But when we got other developers in there, they cut the trees down. Because the deal was that originally, Gary can testify to that they had to leave a lot of natural trees in the very beginning when it
Yeah.
started with Brad.
yeah. Well,
So
it was
you're saying it
oak
changed.
forest. There wasn't much out there. You know, your street trees, you want them to be a little bit better than an oak, you know, forest oak. You know, you want some beauty out there. So,
So then there probably would be 2 different contracts with the developers, since there were 2 different developers, I'm guessing.
I don't know what the city.
At
did.
least, yes.
Yeah.
I don't
Do you
know.
think there's more than 2, Hazel? More than 2 developers?
I thought there was 3. I don't think the developer that's there now is the one that came after Brad, is it? I don't think so.
I just
Wasn't it Cox?
assumed.
Was after Brad.
Cox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that means I'd have to check and see if there should be, you know, you have to find out from 3 contracts then. You know, can't go by any one of them.
Right. Well, whatever. Just check it out. I don't want to offer it to that neighborhood and then we have obstacles that we can't overcome. You know what I mean? I want to know what's going on out there first.
So I'll find out about
Absolutely.
that. And I'll find out where the 8 feet is. Well, where the 8 feet is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look
Good.
for Ryan's email. He wrote that in an email. So, but he did say, you know, he would not recommend planting on the curb line. It has to be on the other side of the sidewalk. So, which is nice. That's actually very nice because it becomes part of their yard pretty much, you know. But the grant is only for planting on public property. So it has to be within the 8 feet right away or 10 feet or whatever it is.
And didn't Ryan say he had something, he put that metal around the trees or something so that the roots?
Yes.
So how
Yes,
does that
and-
work if you put it on the other side? Do they still put it on the sidewalk side?
Well, I think they're using that for existing trees. Like if you drive down St. Louis Avenue.
Yeah.
They're doing the 300 block of St. Louis and there was the most humongous tree. It was a sugar
Sycamore,
maple, I
probably.
believe, in the middle of the block that had to come down. It was really in bad shape. And I asked him how many trees came down on that block, and he said just the one that the city removed.
Mhm.
But there are others where there can be plantings. And if they left the older trees on that street, and if you drive down the street, they put the curbs in, and the curbs end at tree roots. And on the street side of the curb line is this metal bar
Yeah.
that he said gives the trees somewhere to go. So if you drive down St. Louis Avenue, you'll see what he meant by those metal.
I've seen after he spoke at one of the meetings, I had to see for myself, and I see exactly what he's talking about. But there's some that are so far out that there's nothing that they could do other than chop the tree and put that in there, and that wouldn't be a good thing for the tree, I'm sure.
No, I don't think so. But I asked Hazel to check out when the trees in Lincoln Park were planted, and they're about 100 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
That was Dick Colby said that, and that was through the Historical Society.
Yeah.
Really?
So that's pretty good that we have 100-year-old trees here that we
Yes.
planted, I don't
Yes.
think other towns have that. All right, so we'll work on that. We have time. That's the tree planting is until fall, but we want to target the second neighborhood or, other residents after we hear from this first round. And is that everything on the list? Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, just one other thing. Galloway, Friends Along the Mullica is having that series of events, and they have Stormwater Management, if anybody's interested, on March 24th between 7 and 8 p.m. And this is posted on our Facebook page. Who's beeping me? And then they have climate change panel discussion, April 27th. So and that's it between 7 and 8 as well. I'm working every night that they have something, so I haven't been able to participate in this series. But this is the flyer. You see it anywhere. It's online somewhere. I don't know if I think it's on our Facebook page.
I might go to the stormwater management one. I took the Rutgers course last year that they offered online for the end of New York Ave by the creek, because I noticed how much sediment was just running right on into it. So I actually installed one like on the edge of our property that takes a lot of the New York water now, and now it goes right into the sand. So it is a really cool program that Rutgers offers. So I'm curious if the Mullica people are kind of working off of that. The lake could probably eventually benefit from that too, especially along. Rutgers does them all over. They've done a lot for all sorts of cities and towns all across Central and South Jersey. Like there's a lot of sediment that gets dumped into the lake from, I guess, Nagali Street, right on the north side of the lake. Whenever it rains, if you stand by those drains, you can just see the sand from the road going right into the lake, and I'm sure that causes problems just with the amount of sediment in the lake as it is. You could down the line, like Rutgers could come in and install like a bigger area around each storm drain, and then they put rocks and different sediments in there to stop the sand from leaving, and then it just goes there instead. So a lot of cool things you can do with stormwater management.
This is presented by Steve Yergo, and he came down here for one of our spring environmental series events, and he presented at City Hall. He was good. And
what day is that? The stormwater management?
Stormwater management is March 20. It's Thursday, I guess, March 24th.
24th.
Yeah, 7 p.m. And these are all. Where are these located? Are these online?
Oh, that's a council meeting. Is that day? I couldn't make it.
It doesn't say where they are.
The one I did on Rutgers was all online, so maybe online.
Yeah, I think all of Steve's things are online.
Okay, great.
I'll find
I
out.
have
I
6
talked to Steve
meetings
today.
I have 6 meetings Thursday night. Which one should I go to?
Wow.
Yeah, right. Which,
I don't know. I got Ventnor, Egg Harbor City. Oh, you're having the budget workshop, right?
yeah, yep.
6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How's the budget look?
Mm.
Huh? She's not talking.
We'll see.
Nanette,
Yeah.
Nanette, Steve will be at the first council meeting in April to make that presentation from the certificates that we got for the movie that he did.
Thursday.
So I will be there with him.
April 7th?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll be there for that meeting. And Meg hunted and finally found it. The certificate.
Yeah, well, she didn't know where it was?
No. I talked to Jackie today. She said she finally found it.
I left it on the counter one day. I guess I went to a meeting. or
No,
something.
it's not where you put it, it's where they put it.
Yeah, right.
But they
Well,
have it now, so it's good.
oh, good. Okay. All right. I don't have anything else. If anybody, like I said, I've been really busy. I'm kind of flighty right now, so I'm not real well organized for this meeting. But if anybody has anything else they want to bring up, now would be the time.
April 24th.
I
is-
just want to thank you again because you work so hard. Thank you for everything you do, Nan. Absolutely.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
You do. Yes, you do. And as a matter of fact, Steve Fiedler said about ACUA Earth Day, there's going to be the Native Plant Society there, and they're actually going to be showing their the video there as well, I believe.
At
Good.
Earth Day.
Earth Day, yeah. Sunday, April 24th,
Okay.
ACUA,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Yeah, I think he's looking to get more viewers to see that video. It is excellent. It's
It
just a
is.
little bit long. And, but
It
the
is good.
information presented at all is really good. And the videos of the river are really good.
Does he have the schools? Does he have it like presented to the schools so maybe the children can? You know,
It
be
would
part
be
of the
great to show.
curriculum?
It's Cedar Creek. It would be great to show. But like, that's good to show in the spring when they have a lot of time. Like their main course of study is done, and then they have days where they do assemblies and things like that. That would be a great one to show, even if it's just for the environmental clubs and stuff like that over there. But yeah, I think we did something with Cedar Creek one year with non-source point pollution or whatever it's called. And we showed the Baggett movie.
Mhm.
That's when the bag issue first started. People started talking about it. And that movie Baggett came out, and it talks about how the plastic bags wind up in the ocean. And there's those gyros out in the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean, and how we're actually ingesting plastic right now, and how it affects your hormones and things like that, and affects puberty. And it was kind of scary.
No, I'm sure.
We even had the
It was
bag
very
monster.
scary.
Yeah.
Remember, we had the bag monster, and they made a bag monster costume with all plastic bags. And Jeannie, my neighbor, was the bag monster. There's a
Wow.
picture of her on our website.
Uh,
All right, anyone else?
no.
No?
No.
Okay.
Well, I will talk to Steve about Cedar Creek and things. And the children are like, again, they're partly grown up, but I just
Partly.
I have done this for years. Was a judge at the science fair at Stockton, and it would blow you away, the projects that these kids do, the resources and the studies and the presentations. It's just amazing. If anybody else would like to ever be it's once a year. Anybody would ever like to be a judge for the science fair, I could arrange that.
Okay.
It's just amazing.
I cover the science fair when they do it in Margate, and the kids are phenomenal. I mean, I learn so much
Unbelievable.
from them when I go and write the stories. And then a Ventnor doesn't do a science fair. They do a multicultural fair. And that's even bowls you over even more because they have such a diverse clientele over there that you get every nationality represented, and some of them dress in costume, and they all cook, their families cook food and bring the food, and you get to taste the culture, the food of their culture. It's really neat how they, and these are middle schoolers, it's not like it's high school.
Yes.
But they do go on to the Stockton Science Fair, some of them. So, all right. Anybody else? Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks,
We'll
Lynette.
be talking. in
Thank you.
between, and stay in touch. Let me know what's going on. And if you need anything, just give me an email.
Okay.
All right. Great.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Where's the chat here? Who was the chat?